You are listening to The Heritage Pod, presented to you by the Heritage Group of Institutions.
You will be listening to the Knowledge Series with Professor Subhrajeet Ganguly, Assistant Professor, Department of Media Science.
Hi, this is Subhrajeet Ganguly, and today we are having with us Professor Chandradeep Mitra, founder CEO PipalMajik, and visiting faculty in premier institutions like IIM Calcutta, XLRI Jamshedpur, SP Jain Mumbai, and MICA Ahmedabad. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Professor Mitra, can you put some light on the relation between marketing and media planning?
One of the foundational principles of marketing is knowing and understanding your consumer, building a product which is relevant to the consumer, and then reaching the product. Now, the physical reaching of the product is done through sales and distribution. But before the physical product reaches the consumer, it is important that the word, the message, the awareness of the product and the brand also reaches the consumer so that you build demand, or what is in marketing terms called pull. This is where media planning becomes a very important and efficient tool. Essentially, the job of media planning is to make sure that if you know where your prospects and likely customers are, and by where I mean not only geographically or demographically, but also their age, their profile, and their media consumption habits, then you find the right media vehicles, right? And the right media platforms through which you can send out your brand messaging. It could be ads, it could be social media communication, whatever, whereby your likely customers, your prospects, become aware of your company, your product, brand, start becoming aware of the features and benefits of them. If possible, perhaps if it's social media, start engaging with them, answering their queries, getting to know more about their product. And at this point of time, slowly become interested. So it starts with awareness, leads to interest, then desire, and finally action, which is the classic IDA model that marketing talks about. And media planning plays a very important role because it helps you identify who your customers are, what is the media that they are consuming, and thereby choosing the right. And when I say media, I mean TV or radio, increasingly social media, digital media, but within that also which specific television channel, which specific newspaper, who consumes, what do young people consume, what do older people consume, etc. And the sharper, better idea that you have about who your target audience is and what media they consume, when and where and why, the better is your ability to send your brand communication and your brand message to the right people with the best possible targeting and the least amount of wastage or overlap. And that is what really media planning does. It has become more and more important over time because there was a time when there were very few media choices. It was typically in a city or a country, maybe a few newspapers, one television channel, one radio channel, and everybody who was interested in entertainment or news would consume that media. Today in India, we have probably more than 800, 900 television channels. We have so many new growing OTT platforms. Social media platforms have grown, right? From the days of YouTube and Facebook to Instagram and TikTok and many more. So it's important to keep track of people's consuming changing media habits, also the sharper definition of who your target audience exactly is, geographically, demographically, behaviorally, psychologically, psychographically, and actually aim your marketing message to the right people at the right place at the right time to get the maximum possible impact with the least amount of effort or investment. And I think that is really the science and art of media planning is. And it has, of course, become more sophisticated. There's a lot more usage of data and science and real-time analytics that is used. And you also need a lot of data which constantly tracks people's media consumption behavior to be able to make the right choices in the right way. And for marketers, this is how you build brands, because you are able to send the right brand communication to the right people at the right time. That, in essence, is media planning. And I've also spoken a bit about which evolution of time, it has become more complicated and sophisticated, also more necessary. Because if you use the wrong media or the wrong timing, you will spend a lot of time and effort, but your message will not reach the right people at all. So you need to, in today's world, with so much of clutter and fragmentation of media and the choice of media constantly evolving, it is becoming increasingly important to use absolutely accurate, up-to-date data, the right analytics to be able to make real-time decisions for marketers and the specialist group of people, which is media agencies and media companies, to be able to. So in a way, media planning is the bridge between the marketing company and the media companies, because they help the marketing companies connect with the right media companies, strike the right deals, make the right plan, do the right scheduling, and then send out the messaging. Of course, there's another part which is the creative communication, which typically is done by the creative agencies.
That's interesting. Considering the technological advancement, how is the future of media planning?
In looking at the future, media planning is likely to get even more complicated and more sophisticated for three reasons. The first is, of course, the choice of media is increasing. There are more and more new platforms coming up, especially in digital and social media. There's shift that is happening. For example, in TV, a lot of people are doing what is called cord cutting, which means they are not consuming on cable TV as much as they used to. It's still very large in India. Globally, it's coming down. But people are now moving to OTT platforms, right? Similarly, a lot of youngsters read, consume entertainment or even news not on the traditional platforms of newspapers or TV or radio, more and more on digital and social media platforms. So the importance of digital and social media is increasing. Within that, new platforms, be it Instagram, TikTok, especially for young people, becoming more important. So there's a constant shift that is happening, and it's important for you to keep track on a real-time, day-to-day basis. And in future, it will become obviously more complicated and sophisticated. Digital and social media will perhaps become more important. But the other thing that is also important to keep in mind is that in a way, there is greater amount of marketing ROI, especially when it comes to digital and social media. There's this question of attribution, that it's not enough that somebody sees your ad or comes to know about the brand. What is the next possible action, and how easily and seamlessly can you convert the person who becomes aware of the brand, especially on digital and social media, to conversion into generating a sales lead or actually converting into sales? Can you migrate them immediately to a e-commerce site or in your own D2C website where you can close the sale? So it is getting more and more closely integrated. Earlier, media planning was only about building brand awareness. Today, it is getting much more closely integrated with actually generating sales lead and converting into sales. So that's the second thing that is happening. And the last and important thing to keep in mind is that with so much of data and complication, it is also important to have enough measures and metrics which are also real-time and dynamic. And that is where there is a lot of challenge, because while we have separate measurement, let's say for TV or radio or newspaper, we don't have common platforms. Even on digital, we don't have a third-party neutral measurement source. And those are challenges that have to be overcome. And I think not just in India, globally, we're still halfway there or not even fully there in terms of having common data points and metrics to be able to make sharper and more accurate choices and decisions. And this is becoming even more important because what we call marketing ROI, return on investment, is being questioned. That every dollar that we spend in trying to build a marketing communication and send the message out, is it reaching the right audience? Is it creating the right impact? Is it not getting wasted by showing it to the wrong people? That question is becoming more and more prevalent, and that's the question that media planners of the future will have to answer with greater degree of integrity. And that is a challenge that they will face.
Thank you so much, Professor Mitra, for your insights.
Thank you.
That was Professor Chandradeep Mitra speaking on media planning. For more content, keep listening to the Heritage Pod. This is Subhrajeet signing off.
You are listening to the Heritage Pod, presented to you by the Heritage Group of Institutions.